Growing up in a small mountain town, there wasn't much to do. My friends and I would often find ourselves exploring the woods, looking for new adventures. One place we always avoided, though, was the old cave on the eastern side of the mountain. Everyone in town knew the stories. The cave was said to be home to a monster. The legends varied. Some said it was a huge, hulking beast with razor-sharp claws and teeth. Others described it as a shadowy figure that could slip through walls and snatch you away without a sound. But everyone agreed on one thing. Anyone who went into the cave never came out. One crisp autumn afternoon, my friends and I were sitting around the campfire telling ghost stories. As the tales grew more chilling, my friend Jake suddenly stood up, his eyes gleaming with mischief. "I dare you to go to the cave," he said, pointing towards the looming mountain. A chill ran down my spine, but I couldn't back down from a dare. "Fine," I said, trying to sound braver than I felt. "I'll do it." Armed with only a flashlight and a shaky resolve, I set off towards the cave. The sun was setting, casting long shadows through the forest and making the journey even more unsettling. As I approached the mouth of the cave, the temperature seemed to drop, and an eerie silence enveloped the area. I hesitated at the entrance, the darkness inside the cave seeming to pulse with a life of its own. Taking a deep breath, I switched on my flashlight and stepped inside. The beam of light cut through the darkness, revealing damp walls and uneven floors. The air was thick and musty, and the only sound was the echo of my footsteps. As I ventured deeper, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. Every so often, I would hear a faint rustling or a distant drip of water, and my heart would leap into my throat. I had just about convinced myself that the stories were just that, stories, when I heard a low, guttural growl. My blood ran cold, and I froze, straining to hear where the sound had come from. The growl echoed through the cave again, this time closer. Panic surged through me, and I spun around, my flashlight beam dancing wildly across the cave walls. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a shadow move. I whipped the flashlight in that direction, and there, at the edge of the light, stood a creature unlike anything I had ever seen. It was tall and gaunt, its skin a sickly grey that seemed to blend with the shadows. Its eyes glowed a menacing red, and its mouth was filled with jagged teeth that dripped with a dark, viscous fluid. The monster's claws scraped against the stone floor as it moved towards me with a predatory grace. Terror rooted me to the spot, but survival instincts kicked in, and I turned and ran. The creature let out a bone-chilling roar and gave chase, its footsteps pounding behind me. The cave's narrow passages seemed to twist and turn endlessly, and I stumbled and tripped, barely managing to keep my footing. As I rounded a corner, I saw a faint light ahead, the entrance to the cave. Summoning every ounce of strength, I sprinted towards the exit, the monster's growls growing louder and more frantic behind me. I burst out of the cave and into the cool night air, collapsing on the ground and gasping for breath. For a moment, I lay there, too afraid to look back. When I finally mustered the courage, I saw nothing. The cave was dark and silent once more, the monster hidden within its depths. I scrambled to my feet and ran back to the campfire, where my friends sat waiting, their faces pale with fear. "You actually went in?" Jake asked, his voice trembling. I nodded, still trying to catch my breath. "There's something in there," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "A monster." We never spoke of the cave again, and none of us ever went near it after that night. The stories we had heard as children were true. There was a monster inside the cave, and it was waiting for anyone foolish enough to venture into its lair. And sometimes, on dark, quiet nights, when the wind howls through the trees, I can still hear its growls echoing in my mind, a haunting reminder of the night I came face to face with the creature that lurks within the mountain.